Hello, my name is Adam Lobel. I'm the representative director at Kumano Shindo, which operates an innovation hub in Kumano, Mie Prefecture, Japan. It is a great pleasure to be speaking at Symbiosis Beyond Sustainability, hosted by the Global Regeneration Collab. I will be speaking at 7 a.m. Japan, which I believe is midnight UTC, and I look forward to meeting everyone. I am very grateful for everything that the GRC does. I met David Hudson many years ago when I was working at a software startup in New York. Since then, I've had the pleasure of joining many weekly meetings and working with many members in Europe and Asia, India, including Andrew Crosby, who's become a friend and a mentor, and Carolina, who's organizing today's event, who's become a friend and colleague and is in Kumano right now. Our focus at Kumano Shindo is to build a regenerative model blueprint, community blueprint, which can be deployed at other areas in Japan and around the world which are being impacted by depopulation, brain drain, struggles to shift thinking and in economic development to a new regenerative paradigm. And one of the levers that we've been using is to create this blueprint is environmental education. So again, I just wanted to say thank you. Kumano Shindo loves the Global Regeneration Collab. We've worked closely on several events, including an introduction to the Government of Japan Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications Innovation Program, which I will be explaining a little bit more later, in which Kumano Shindo serves as a network hub, one of 50 plus network hubs around the world. We've also co-hosted an explanation of the Heliocompass, a circular way of measuring and accounting for time and cycles, year and life cycles around time in a cyclical fashion, and other bridge building activities between Kumano and GRCers around the world. In an event that we ran in March of 2021, we were happy to be joined by members of the GRCers in mostly Africa, Asia, and Europe. This was an article that was written in a local newspaper called Yoshikuma, Yoshino Kumano, that was published on April 6th. And you can see that there's a nice little shout out to the GRC. And the GRC members, including Carolina, are pictured in a photo that was used by the newspaper. You can also see on our website, kumano.life/project, some of the other events that we did, details about those projects that we did with the GRC. I'd like to just briefly talk about Kumano Shindo, our affinity with the GRC, and just some added slides. I've been very inspired by the GRC. My interest in conservation began when I was an elementary school student in New York. I grew up in Great Neck on the north shore of Long Island, an island that was formed by glacial activity that left different size sediment in the creation of the island. We have an aquifer that cleans our drinking water. The two things I noticed is why people couldn't swim in the Long Island Sound. While I'd heard that Native Americans had fished those waters, now they were off limits for us to swim. light bulb went off when I was in about fourth grade. An environmental educator came with a 3D model of the aquifer with different size sediment, poured water in, showed that water dripped through the aquifer, then water with some dirt went through the aquifer and was cleaned, and then used printer's ink or oil to create a plume in the aquifer, passed water through, and saw how all that water got polluted. It was a light bulb went off moment. I then went on to study as a grade school student marine biology at CW Post on Long Island. Went on to study ecosystemology at UC Berkeley. Went on to earn a master's degree in environmental and information studies in Japan, studying Satoyama, the traditional agricultural landscape of Japan, which serves as a circular economy model and is one of the reasons why Japan is so rich in biodiversity. I was exposed to, my first trip to Kumano was in June of 2020. I fell in love with the land. It's land that belongs to my wife's family. And I decided to build a innovation lab there and work on some of the issues and matters that were important to me, and in that process learned so much from the GRC community. Our mission is to accelerate our transition to a regenerative society where people have a sense of excitement. We collaborate in our place and around the world to create business lines and human resources with new value, using modern technology and respecting nature and the wisdom of our ancestors. The thinking of regeneration really has inspired us to move beyond sustainability, which is why today's event is so meaningful. And our main activities currently in Kumano are environmental education, innovation acceleration, digital transformation through the creation of VR digital twins, and building overseas sales channels and cultural exchange channels between Japanese local businesses and schools and students, and businesses and students and communities overseas. Why Kumano? Kumano is an area rich in history and cultural significance. It is where Emperor Jinmu, the first emperor of Japan, made landfall before his eventual conquest of Yamato and all of Japan. It is the area, it is the location of Japan's oldest shrine, Hana no Iwa Jinja Shrine. And it is full of beautiful nature and typography that inspires us. It has this ancient animism and strong belief in nature and rock worship. And it is home to musuhi, an ancient word that combines the ideas of creation and power to form creativity. And we hope to leverage this creativity to create a blueprint for other communities around the world, to create opportunities in education, and to cultivate and foster strange ideas and people that may have a hard time fitting in, and to provide an output and a channel for them to channel their energies and feel at home in Kumano. A little bit of a deeper dive includes our regeneration of Satoyama and Satoumi, our digital twin metaverse project, our work with Zen School based in Kamakura, the birthplace of Japanese Zen, the innovation program managed by the government of Japan, environmental education, working on tourism and other event opportunities with local stakeholders, and building bridges to people overseas. One meaningful activity we engaged in recently that Carolina was a critical part of developing and executing was working with our first client, a local timber company, Noji Mokuzai, who also do work on environmental education, to enhance a program that they were doing last week. They developed hiasobi, which literally means play with fire, and developed this STEM educational device to make use of wood that is unusable, and they children can learn how to build fires using this device, and it burns down, releasing CO2. And we said, douse this thing before it's completely burned, create biochar, add a seed to your packaging or a seedling with local work. And now we're able to have impact through different additional SDGs and improve the footprint of your STEAM learning device. And we did work in Kumano last week. And you can see the beautiful typography and group of people we work with, and an example on the right hand side of a doused Hiasobi stem tool and how it's used to plant trees. And we did tree planting on that day. Our team is diverse, strong. I'm proud of it. We are walking the regenerative paths in our personal lives and our organizational life. Our experience runs the gamut from corporate sustainability to technology transfer to innovation development, network ecology, sustainable tourism. Our advisor, Brian Van Hersen, is an expert in marine permaculture. We have members of our team that join our biweekly team meetings in governance, experts in governance, community energy, marine science, technology, and we're very happy to be supported by such a great group of people. We also work with the innovation program. We're located in this blue area here, and we're working actively now to enhance the impact of the innovation programs, whose mission is to find and incubate wonderfully strange people with the belief that these people with the right funding and network can go on to do wonderful things. And I was happy to receive a Generation Award in 2019, one of 7 recipients selected from over 13,000 applicants. And that really changed my life, and as a result, I'd like to give back to the innovation program. Just some resonance with GRC, shared values and inclusivity, regenerative technology and practices, and our aim to create a network to create a ripple effect. We want to continue to do work with the GRC on environmental education and green collar skill development. We look forward to finding ways to integrate technology, both in IT and sensor technology, into a potential solar-powered marine permaculture system, but also just to collect data in our environmental education program. For example, what are the impacts of Hiasobi turned into biochar with tree planting, with regards to carbon sequestration, with regards to enhanced biodiversity, with regards to community building. And this morning I was happy to speak with the science educator at a school in Westchester County, New York, about duplicating the program we did with biochar last week in Westchester. And I'm very excited to build similar ties with communities around the world. We also hope to enhance our digital twin of our marine and Satoyama work, our Satoumi and Satoyama work. We're busy using Blender and other technologies to create a digital twin, and we'd love to continue to work with the GRC on this. Just as an addendum, our long-term goal is to build a technical innovation platform, which we call Akashic Records, to create and enhance innovations to help local regions, bioregions around Japan and around the world. Our substrate through which these innovations permeate, similar to the idea of an aquifer, which I mentioned earlier, is biomimicry, indigenous knowledge, traditional intelligence, and innovative or strange education and innovations. We've started to map some indigenous knowledge, including the lower left-hand side, Mr. Onaka, who is an expert in traditional form of forestry, which is unique to the Ki region, the Kishu region of Japan, which is a land that has area which has always been rich in forestry. Our work in the metaverse continues, especially through our director, Koji Miki. We think that Japan has unique contributions to make to metaverse technologies because we believe the culture is what we call metaverse ready. These ideas of a universe within a universe, or a discrete bespoke experience, is found throughout Japanese culture in ceremonies like the tea ceremony, no drama, and Zen. And one of our goals is to build a innovation and metaverse space in our 100-year-old farmhouse in Kumano. We've been making small improvements, and we'd like to have this tea house. And one of the beautiful things about the tea ceremony, which was developed during the Sengoku period in Japan, is that you have to go through a very small crawl space called a Nijiri Guchi in order to get in to this tea room. Samurai had to hang up their sword before entering the tea room. This is a space where hierarchy dissolves, where one can converse as an equal regardless of class or rank with other masters of tea. And we think this thinking embodied in the tea ceremony, embodied in this space, is indicative of the kinds of spaces we need to build where people can have honest conversations on how we can reach or achieve a regenerative future society. Another one of our projects, I, as a high school student, built a sukkah in my community in New York, which is a temporary dwelling that Jews build during the harvest festival, the pilgrimage festival of Sukkot. Last September, we built a sukkah with our local partners using traditional Japanese carpentry techniques of no metal joint work. And we're hoping to celebrate using this same sukkah in one of our Jewish community partners overseas later this year. We also included solar energy and other creative activities in our programming last year. These are some examples of some of our restoration work we're doing in our Satoyama in Kumano. June 2020 in the lower left-hand corner, and then a few months later in December, you can see the remarkable difference in this property, which was abandoned practically for 15 years. And the beginnings of our work in our Satoumi project, which we will be launching this year, part of our digital twin and environmental education platform, hopefully in Atashka, a beautiful beach 10 minutes from our headquarters, or another bay located similarly nearby. We've received local press coverage, our launch ceremony, our work with the GRC, our work with Sukkot, and a recent class we taught, cooking class we taught for children in Kumano. We look forward to working with the GRC today, in the future, and we are so happy that you thought of us and included us in today's event. Thank you very much.